Three. Welcome everybody. This is Suffering 187, aka Jackal Lair, with your boy.
Your boy GTG, you know what I'm saying? DSP News, you already know it. Always late, never break. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. GTG Network Productions. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. Today's video, I wanted to speak on DSP and Wings Rendition. Which one is actually the worst? From the videos I've seen Kipster, from Kipster, you know, Wings don't seem like that bad of a guy. He look like he actually trying to change his life around. Where DSP seems content on living his life e-begging. And I seen your video where he spoke on crowdfunding seems to be the future, which crowdfunding is not. No, it's not. It's That's not even a dependable income.
I would, yes, I would say that it's certainly not reliable income, but for certain people, it's paid off. And Wings is a good example of that. He's a very good example of that.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. My one of the reasons that I'd point that out is that as it pertains to Wings and DSP, let's break down each one of them as an individual for a little bit.
Okay.
One thing about Wings that separates him from DSP, they both do have things that kind of that coincide with each other, if I should say. They're similar in a lot of ways, but
I've noticed that
they're similar in a lot of ways as it pertains to older YouTubers, guys who have been around for a really long time. Let me give you guys some examples. Rich from Review Tech USA, Angry Joe to an extreme, Boogie. If you guys have been keeping up with Boogie recently and some of his nonsense, a lot of these guys have this mentality where they all do it in a different way, but they all have this mentality as, you know what? I've been around for a very long time. My word should be law because look at my following. I've been here since the beginning. I've seen a lot. And within that same group, some of them are like, well, you guys should help me out because of look at what I've given you over the years. It's almost like you owe me. And each one of them just approaches it a different way. Now, as it pertains to Wings and as it pertains to DSP, you have two men who started up around the same time, give or take, but both of them basically were on the same road and then went in different paths. Wings, who started off in the Call of Duty community, just in case you guys didn't know, and DSP, who's a fighting game head.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he's a fighting game head who ended up sprouting off and going into variety gaming or let's plays or things like that, if you will. They both span off in their own separate way. Now, both of them found success in the beginning. Well, I don't know if with DSP I would call it success, but I'm biased. But both of them found a measure of success in what they're doing, some more than others. As it pertains to Wings, I'm going to hit Wings very hard in this video because maybe right before his surgery in Mexico, yes, he did have surgery in Mexico.
Yeah, that's why I said, that's why I believe Wings is actually doing better life-wise other than YouTube than Phil.
Because he tried.
Yes.
Because he attempted to do something. And I feel you on that. One of the problems that I had with Wings, though, is he said maybe right before the surgery that, in the 10 years I was on YouTube, I only made like $300,000. You're a goddamn lie. And you're a lie because back in the day, Wings was he was easily one of the top 10 Call of Duty YouTubers back in those days. We're talking about somebody who put a video out and could get 100,000 views in a day. Maybe two. And if you think about that in machinima money back in those days, where now this is before we get into the whole ad situation.
Yes.
We're talking about views. We're talking about view-based income back in those days. He was killing it. Him, White Boy 7th Street, Ali A when he eventually came about, T Martin, who else? 402 Thunder, El Presador, Fisticuff, Blame Truth. I could name the list off because I've done some of the research on it. Those guys were killing it back in those days because before people started doing Call of Duty commentating, like actual commentary. It was
Yeah.
people just putting out high score or high kill games, and that's what the kids were eating up at the time. You know what I'm saying? That's what people wanted to see, and I understand that. So he made himself a shitload of money. So that was a damn lie what he said, and he was wrong for saying that.
I didn't even know he said that.
Yeah, he did. He might have done it. He might have done it on the sly, thinking that no one was paying attention. But Wings, there are always people paying attention to you. It's not just Sean R. It's not just Wing Ting. It's not just what's his name? Wings of Thrones or Wings
KFC.
I can't remember his name. I'm sorry.
Wings of KFC.
Yeah, I think it might be Wings of KFC. All these dudes pay attention to you for a reason. You got to be careful what you say.
Yep.
DSP back in, I'd say his run was easily between 2010 and probably 2013, maybe 2014 if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt. He made himself a killing. Now, I said in a video a little while back that I think, going off of what Mr. Medicare and the Ralph Retort said, shouts out to both of them.
Yep.
They had said that if you go by current metrics on YouTube, if you get 1 million views, or if you're pulling about 1 million views, that's about $1,000. Okay, DSP is pulling about 2 million plus views a month. That's about $2,000, give or take, a little more, a little less. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Now, that's not bad. So now let's go ahead and rewind a couple of years back when ads were good, when he was still on the view-based program, and when he was pulling, 10,000, 100,000 views per video, give or take. And he was he was bringing in 15 million views a month. Now, let's take what he did back then and look at current metrics and think about what that is. Now, keep in mind, the money back then would have fluctuated a little bit. Now, if you do some quick numbers in your head, about 200,000, you know what I'm saying, a year, give or take, a little more, a little less. Was he making 200K? I can't really confirm that. Was he making six figures easy? Yes. And I can confirm that because he said in a video a couple months ago that six figures a year was not a big deal. And who would say something like that? Someone who's made six figures for a number of years.
Yep.
And was never able to break past that plateau.
Yep. I can't even laugh at six figures. Shit, I can't laugh at four figures.
Exactly.
Shit.
And that's what, and that's just the financial aspects of both individuals, in my own personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But let me address your. What's your next question though? What's I'm sitting here doing all this talking. My bad.
About who's the worst. When you brought up that Wings said that he only made not a lot of cash during this whole time on YouTube, where the video I just sent you, I didn't have enough time to write a whole rack of notes, but I did notice that his friends said that when they was trying to help Wings lose weight and trying to encourage him, push him there, that they helped him make videos and got his and put it on his YouTube channel, and his YouTube channel with those videos made him a lot of, I think they said like 5,000 or so. So when he said he didn't make a lot of cash, like damn, 5,000, you did make a lot of cash just from your friends trying to help you out for free.
Okay, yeah. So that's PKA. So PKA, first off, I want to, and no disrespect to Woody's gamer tag, to Kyle, and I can't remember the third name. No disrespect to any of them, but PKA was Wings' idea. You know what I'm saying? That theoretically, he should own that and whatnot. And he made, there's some theories online. Some people say basically he wasn't business savvy enough and it was taken from him. There's all kinds of nonsense on what that situation is.
Damn.
But he should own that. That's all I can say. No matter what, Wings should own that. Mm-hmm. And he's tried to start over, and it's kind of hard starting over, I guess, for some people. Some people take the challenge, some people can't.
Yes.
But to address your question, yes. When Wings was at a low point, Kyle moved this man into his house.
I was going to get into that. Yes.
Yeah, I won't get into it all. I'll make sure you have your points. But this man redid his house to accommodate Wings, and yes, they made videos showing Wings' progress, and Wings made a lot of money off those videos. Those guys, and you have to give them credit. Those guys went out their way to better Wings, and it's obvious that they liked him. You know what I'm saying? It was obvious that they liked him as an individual, because who would go out of their way for someone they don't like?
Bruh, my friends never went out their way like that shit. That Max, my brother, ever went out of his way is to pay his half to for the house that he fucked me over on, and that's just $200. I owe $4. Shit, I wish somebody fix their house for me so I can move in to accommodate my needs. Shit, but when it comes down to where Wings did, where he just left, treated them wrong, and didn't have manners, so he talked to dude's girlfriend any type of way, versus DSP just not giving people money which they should have earned. If we're gonna scale that, I believe Wings will win that competition, will win that round, because you can't really say that he fucked them over with money that they never got into their hand or promised, versus somebody putting all this money around Wings and just treated them really fucked up.
Yeah, he did. He ended up screwing them out of Wings ended up messing those guys up out of a like a hiking trip or something too.
Yeah.
And those guys were actually en route when that happened, and he just said, "I'm not going," for whatever reason. Yeah, he did them dirty. He did them pretty dirty.
From what I remember watching the video, dude was already halfway there. He tried to let Wings know, "Hey man, if you leave right now, you'll be there in an hour. We can we could share a hotel." And it sounded like he didn't even want Wings to pay for the hotel. He just he just said, "Hey, I'll get a hotel with another bed in it." And right then and there, as you said, he just let him know, "Hey, I'm not coming." But he should have. Wayne should have told him from the very minute, "Hey man, I changed my mind. I'm not going." So as dude said, it was kind of creepy with me and this old ass man. Because he said the camper trip would have been fun with 3 or 4 people.
It would have. It would have. And Wings needed that, because what it was kind of like positive reinforcement. You know what I mean? It was a gesture, I think, of positivity. Using a DSP term, it was a gesture of good faith amongst Wings' friends, showing Wings that, hey, we're here for you, we will support you, and you kind of need this in your life. I think everybody needs some type of reset, and one of the theories is that camping brings man back to some of his most basic instincts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It brings you down to the ground level. You're out there with your wits, a few supplies, and people that you can depend on, and it helps build stronger bonds between you. At least that's the theory.
With DSP, I believe DSP said that John does a little camping trip, or John said he does a camping trip every year. With DSP having that knowledge, I believe DSP should have done that with John Rainbow instead of harassing him. "Hey man, you want to do Smart Guys? You want to do Smart Guys?" And John had to cut his cell phone off just to stop hearing from DSP.
Now, here's the thing on that, my brother. Could you really see DSP out in the woods for any stretch of time? For any period of time?
Bro, I can't really see DSP going to the mall picking up chicks, but it happened.
It did happen. Okay, fair enough. DSP out in the woods, just nah. I don't see. He just. Some people just don't have it in them to be out in the woods or camping or whatever. Whether you don't like the mosquitoes, whether you're scared of the dark, whatever the case may be. Some people just don't have it in them for something like that.
Yes. Is true.
John and Howard come across as people like, okay, they don't mind nature. They don't mind having the bare minimums and making their way off of that. That's not DSP. That's not DSP. DSP needs the comforts. And he needs the comforts so much that he'll sit in that office with all of that dust and debris and give himself respiratory problems, and he don't care because he's comfortable. That's what a DSP would do. So fresh air would kill DSP.
See, right there is DSP faking that, because a couple of people, and I think even you point out and Tevin pointed out that certain events like the Tricks Twitch stream and the stream he had with Kate, he wasn't doing all that snorting or coughing or burping.
You're right. I think it's a comfort type thing yet again. It's a coping. Okay, so I have some theories on that. If you look at DSP's earlier stuff, and then you look at him as he progressed, or as I like to call, as he devolved. That's when he starts picking up on some of that stuff. At first, people didn't like him for that laugh. You know, it was a terrible laugh, but it's not like what it is now, like that, like he's choking on something.
Yeah,
it wasn't that bad back in 2009, 2010. It gradually just started to get worse. The snorting, the belching, all of that. I don't know if it's a coping mechanism. I don't know if it's a quirk. I don't know if it's both. I don't know what it is. But what I do know is this, and I put this on everything I give a damn about. The longer he's in that office, all those years that he was with Panda and he was in that office and he had that dust storm going on in there. You're talking about he snorted, he breathed, he inhaled that environment for years. Just imagine what that's going to do to him when he gets into his 50s. He's going to have respiratory problems because, and I say this with the type of confidence because he doesn't go to the doctor. He says he doesn't. When's the last time this man had a physical? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to me right now, whether you like me or not, take at least this piece of advice. Get yourself checked up. And I don't mean for STDs and all that. You should definitely do that if you're out there wilding. But go out there and get yourself checked out. You should have a physical once a year. Some people do it twice, but at least once a year. Get yourself checked out.
It's recommended every 2 years. I'm sorry. Twice a year. Sorry. Every 6 months. Yes.
Your health is the most valuable thing that you have. Mm-hmm. Invest in yourself. Because DSP can sit on his couch right now and tell you he's all good, this, that, and the third. But if you look at his relationship with Panda, he just couldn't keep up with that. Because he isn't in good enough shape to do so, to be honest. And the longer he sits on that love seat, the more and more his health is just going to go into a decline. He can lie to everybody and say whatever he wants about, I get my little bit of exercise by walking around the house, which is laughable.
Bro, when I heard that, I was like, man, it took me to walk around my block 5 times just for my fat ass to lose around 317 to 285.
Shit, congratulations, brother.
Thank you. And that took like 2 damn months, man. Every night after work. This dude talking about walking around his house, man. Your body not going to get a jet. Your body ain't going to feel nothing from that.
Exactly. If you're not out there and if you're not building up a sweat, you know what I'm saying? Which is really really starting the fat burning process. And that takes a while for some people, depending on how active you are. You're not doing anything. If Phil is sitting there and hyping himself up off of his gout tea and his energy drink and eating once a day whenever Cat gets home or whatever frozen meal that they're having or his microwavable turkey burger or whatever it is that he has, if you're eating only once a day and you're kind of sustaining yourself on all these supplemental type items, so to speak, you're going to lose a little bit of weight, but that doesn't make you any healthier.
No,
you know what I'm saying? So he's sitting here bragging right now about, I lost 10 pounds. I'm feeling great. It's because of all the meals that Cat made me. But that doesn't make you any healthier. You lost 10 pounds, maybe. Good for you. But that doesn't make you any healthier, though. You're not active.
Oh, man. I want to make sure that we evenly do this from DSP to Wings, but
no problem.
Man, the stream. Did you see the stream with him and Kate? The real life stream with those two?
Yeah, I did.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special stream. People have been asking for me to do more kind of just talking with you guys and hanging out with you guys kind of streams. So I decided to do one tonight. Kat is here live on the stream to join us as well and talk. Neither of us had anything to do tonight. Kate cheered and said, "Hi, Kat. It's nice to meet another cat on the stream." Yes, she's Kate. Your cat, she's Kate. And of course, we got a troll. Someone trying to pretend to be my ex-girlfriend. The first troll of the night. So we'll ignore that. The trolls will arrive shortly. Chewbacca cheered. He says, "Did Kat hear about the infamous accident on stream?" Of course. I mean, how could you not? You know what I mean? Especially you said you were a fan, so obviously you know. Because some people, they can't get over it. You know what I mean? Like, how could you ever get over something like that? Because it was something stupid and silly. I laughed at it. I thought it was funny, you know? I mean, yeah, is it embarrassing? But it wasn't something that I was going to, forever make it be my be-all and end-all, you know? Someone might have done that, but no, I move on, so. Fred Flintstone cheered. He says, wait. Anyway, so there we go, guys. Everyone's going nuts. Let's see here what people have to say. Jake Kramer cheered. He says, "Blink twice if you need rescuing." So there you go. There's the troll message. Obviously, you've been my captive.
Yep.
She's not actually a willing, resident here in the house. Please don't share this information, dude. There's no plan B. That's the problem. There's no plan. All these credit cards that I racked up, on promotional rates that ran out, and now I'm paying shitloads of interest every month on credit cards and shit. So I have no supplemental income. You know what I mean? I'm financially fucked. I may be living month to month, paycheck to paycheck, begging for fucking tips and shit on stream for the rest of my life.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious. So Twitch is the future, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Sure, why not?
So, there you go.
What the hell is...
Yes. Deacon Moss wants to know, do you mind if he smokes marijuana on the stream?
It's none of my business.
None of my business. Smoke weed every day.
There you go. So you're not a drug stickler. There you go. Oh, Hydrocarbon wants to know how to get over porn addiction. Wow.
Okay. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm on the fence about it.
Big Man T tipped me $10. He says, "Any of you ever watch Boku no Pico?" Oh, never heard of it. I don't know.
I do, of course.
All right, we got a guy talking about nasty stuff,
Yeah.
and I ignore that. So Jay Kramer, I ignored his cheer earlier because he was asking personal questions. Now he says, "Were you embarrassed the first time that Kat noticed you enjoying wrestling? My girl would think I need a helmet and a bib and disown me if she knew that I watched wrestling."
Yeah.
Were you embarrassed? Were you horribly embarrassed? Or what? No, I guess was I horribly embarrassed when I found out that you found out that I watched wrestling?
It's stupid.
I mean, so here's the thing. Some people have conceptions about wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Only dumbass people or hicks watch it, right? It's like,
It's stupid. I don't get it.
We got a troll anonymous $3 tip I'm not going to read. And what I actually want to do while I'm on the subject, because we got a lot of new subs tonight, I want to see how many subs we're up to, because I want to update the sub count here. We are up to... Wow, we're down to... We lost subs. It's hilarious. Oh, well. Maybe I shouldn't have checked. All right. Styles Daniel cheered. He says, "In honor of the Incredibles 2, if both of us woke up tomorrow with a superpower, what would you want your powers to be?" What would your superpower be?
Teleporter online. I have opened the box.
Teleportation.
My superpower would be the ability to
Punch people through the internet, because every single motherfucker...
You know I did.
I don't know what's up with that. I mean, because she came to the string with lingerie, or that could have just been a regular shirt, but to me it looked like lingerie. It looked like she was so stressed out, she squeezed the stress ball to death. And it busted all over his floor. Like, I wonder, have she ever played with this man's balls and accidentally squeezed too hard? Jesus. And she got the death grip. But the faces that she was making, and then she looked very uncomfortable. I'm now starting to believe the detractors, quote unquote, that this may be that DSP is actually paying her.
Now here's the thing, I'll take my lumps on this one because I pushed that whole narrative about that whole escort saga because that shit was funny. At the end of the day, That mess was funny. Like, you got to understand, when you go ahead and you look at some of my videos, when you look at some of the Snorpernell videos, the Mr. Huff stuff videos, the Argent videos, the Theo videos, the Almighty Tevin videos, the David Davison videos, I'm a fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to understand, I'm a fan. So that's why I can keep track of all this stuff.
Yes.
When you see all of this stuff, and then you see what Kiwi Farms was doing, and when you were tracking what was going on Twitter, it was so much that you couldn't believe it was a lie. Like, the story was too good. You know
It was.
And you know the old saying, like, you know, anything that's too good to be true probably is. But
Yes.
the story was too good. And one of the things, right, and Mr. Medicare as well as a couple other people tried to explain it as best they could. But one of the key factors that I had a problem with, and I need to talk to, I'm going to eventually get on a call with you and a few other people that in the Detractor community that I want to talk to. And we're going to have a roundtable discussion about this, because one of the problems that I had was the correlation between the travel plans. When he said that, oh, my girlfriend's supposed to come in, and the fake escort said that, oh, she was flying out, and so on and so forth. And keep in mind, you're talking about tweets that are hours apart. And she was doing it first. It wasn't like she was copying his tweets and coinciding her tweets with his. She was initiating the tweets first.
So do you think that she somehow knows Kate, that they from the same city?
I don't know yet. It's an ongoing investigation.
Because the person that tweeted that, she may have been a troll, but yeah, it is too much of a coincidence that she said hers first and then DSP said it right after. But could DSP say it on Instagram first and then, oh, she has to say this on Twitter as well?
That's possible. That is very possible, because whoever Mystery Lady was, well, we know who she is now, but she was obviously keeping some track of DSP in some way, shape, or form. And which goes back to another theory that Almighty Tevin had kind of hinted to it, and I think he did it jokingly, but as time goes on, I'm really starting to kind of really formulate it, is that I think DSP coughed some money up. I think he coughed some money up to make it go away. Because if you look at what, I know it's hard to believe, but just bear with me for just a second. When Phil was saying, I really need this $2,000 goal to be met, and that happened to be the same $2,000 that mystery woman asked for, and then once he got it, she stopped. And then when he started talking shit on his pre-stream a couple of days later, and she started rallying everything back up, it makes you wonder that if there was some money that exchanged hands, let's just say hypothetically.
Hold on, who brought up the $2,000 first, DSP or the troll?
Oh well, she said that she was owed either $2,000 or $3,000. When you look at when you look back at that time when Phil, this was during the holidays, when Phil was like, "Oh, I really need this money," and you know, this is during that whole December situation. If you look at what his goals were at that time, it was about $2,000, which was right around what Mystery Woman said that she was owed. That's the money that he owed her. When Phil finally got the money, or at least when he acknowledged to his community, to his pig pen, to his cult, that he got the money, she stopped. You know what I'm saying? Like, right around the time he acknowledged he got the money, she stopped. Then, like I said, a couple days later, Phil goes on pre-stream talking shit about this whole situation, and then she gets all revved up again, mad about him talking shit. And then everything kind of blows up after that. And then that's what led to them getting exposed and so on and so forth. It just makes me wonder, is it possible that some money exchange, some money, you need a minute, bro?
Yeah, somebody's knocking on my door, but you might carry this conversation. I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah, no problem. It makes me wonder if the money ended up exchanging hands, like I said, about $2,000 or so, and once she got the money, allegedly, she stopped. Everything was in the clear. It is what it was. Excuse me. But DSP, being DSP, he can't help himself. He just can't. He's someone who almost habitually has to talk. Oh, no problem, man. He's someone that's almost habitual in how his behavior is. He has to talk about things that frustrates him. He has to insult people if he can. And by doing that, it drew her back in, and that's when she started hitting him with this banter and started taunting him, and she went overboard. And that's when people really started to look at her story, the inconsistencies of it, and then it all blew up from there. That's the theory, though. It's just the theory.
But the reason I never believed all of it from the beginning when I even said it on your page, because DSP doesn't seem like the type that will hire an escort. I mean, he seemed like the guy that hire an escort. Shit, I may have paid. I'm sorry, I work a government job. I can't say that. Anyway, he doesn't seem like the type that will hire somebody way out of his state. That is way too much. He may make bread, but he don't make that type of money to bring escorts from a whole different city just to have a one-night stand with and then ship them back to where they came from. And to hire, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You're right. Go ahead.
So actually, to hire an escort for weeks as he had Kate over. Nah, that's way too much money, man. That's way too much money that he will make. I mean, that he make from his YouTube. That he will need to pay his mortgage from his house and his condo.
But the irony is that all those times that he had to take those breaks, all those times that he needed some time to himself and so on and so forth, there was a woman who he was flying in and out. You know what I mean? That's how he got Kat there. You know, Kat made it to Washington 3 times. You know what I mean? In that span of time before he told people, "Oh, I got a new girlfriend."
Now,
3 times.
Now, see, the reason that's kind of, that's believable that he paid for her to go instead of he needed that for tax. It depends on where she's from. It probably doesn't cost that much, or probably he got a deal to fly her from where she at to him. And it doesn't take much to feed a person, feed a person. So, and then to send her back probably didn't cost that much for 4 times.
I agree. As it pertains to where she's from, debates still rage, but some people, some people think Midwest, possibly Michigan. And I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. It's a legend, though. No one knows for sure.
So, with Wings, when he broke up his girlfriend, I couldn't get too much information about Wings and his breakup with his girlfriend.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Wings of Redemption, and this is another one of the videos. I'm very hyped, but I got some very important news and channel updates here for you today. For those of you who know, I've been dating a girl named Shalene for about a year now, and today I kind of decided for a huge life change. I actually asked her to move out of the house again. Reasoning for this. I kind of made some bad decisions in my life, and a lot of it was influenced, from her being there and trying to keep her happy. And it's got me in a really bad financial situation, and I needed time to basically get my life back together. And, supporting a woman and 2 kids at the same time really didn't work that well. And she's a very negative person to begin with. Like you've seen it in most of the videos. Like she didn't really go enthusiastically into anything. She never really gave her hardest. She almost had like a lazy personality about her, and it made horrible decisions all around. And so I'm going to try to and my brother recently is probably going to move back in with me. Either my brother or my moving out today. And I know a lot of people called for it, and it's probably happening now. It's not that she was a bad person. I mean, she has a good heart on her, and she does love her kids and stuff like that. It's just me and her wasn't really working. We didn't really have. We just weren't going to work in the long run. There's probably somebody out there for her. It's just probably not me. One of the main factors is I felt like she didn't appreciate me. I basically let her live for free, gave her a house, gave her, nice cars and stuff. And I couldn't get her to fix me a sandwich, to be perfectly honest. I mean, it was just the way she was. She's just one of those ill people. and I probably was just blinded by loneliness and like at the end of it. But stress is not worth not being lonely. I mean, that's just what it is. But it's been your boy Wings of Redemption. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you could, please leave a rating. It helps me immensely, especially in times like these. This is more of an update video than an actual commentary. I'll probably do a commentary later on today. I am working on my win streak, and I will be doing that on the Xbox at this point. It's currently up to 2. That's where I started at. So I'm gonna keep a little tally. And the win streak I'm heading for is actually 500. So hopefully you guys do that. I've actually thought about streaming it, because when I stream I gotta face better teams because people generally join. But as always, your boy Wings of Redemption. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. The video is kind of winding down now. I'm kind of trying to hold out for another 30 seconds. But let me know what you want to. Let me know if you think I made the right decision, and what's the best way to basically rebound after something like this. I feel kind of bad from the way she has to leave. Basically because we just sold her car, which I asked her not to do, but we ended up doing it anyway, and then we pretty much spend the money on different things. So I'm probably going to buy her another car. So yeah, it is what it is. Tell me what you guys think was the best reaction to this. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Peace.
Okay, Wings' girlfriend. I'll try to give you what I know.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll play off that. Wings' girlfriend comes in at a time where Wings is on top. And it's not just Wings' girlfriend, if I remember correctly. Now, keep in mind, I'm kind of going off memory here, because it's not as easy as you would think to find some of this stuff.
Yes.
It is, but it isn't. But with Wings' girlfriend, she had kids. So when he took her on, so to speak, he took on whatever baggage that comes with it. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mean to disrespect anybody out there by saying that children are baggage, because that's not what I mean. I apologize. Let me reword it. When he agreed to walk into that relationship, he took, not only when he took her on, he took on her children too. And he seemed to have been attached to them. So now you go from a single guy who was really just taking care of one of the, 2 houses that I think he had at the time, or maybe more elaborate mobile homes, whatever you want to word that, to, having 3 trucks at one time, to, going out and doing whatever he wants, spending his money any way he felt like, to now he essentially has a makeshift family. So now you have to restructure your life a little bit. You got to think a little bit differently. And Wings ended up really having to focus on his content more, because now he doesn't have as much money as he once did. Now he's taking care of a girlfriend. Now she has some kids. He has to now really kind of prioritize what his situation is. And that, in turn, is what some people look at as that was Wings' downfall.
About taking care of her and her kids?
Well, a lot of people think she was a gold digger. A lot of people think that she kind of came in. She was living good off of him when things got slow, because things eventually did. Because when it comes to this YouTube shit, especially if you're making money off this, every creator or content creator or whatever you want to call it, when they're working this thing financially, they always come to a point where they come into like a rough patch. You come into a slow time of the year. DSP talks about it a lot, where money's slow. And when money's slow, you can see the strain within their content. You can hear it in their voice. You can see it in their face. Wings is no different. Wings went from having, between 2 and 4 uploads, which were quality uploads. If you go back and look at some of those old footage, he went from 2 to 4 quality uploads to like 5 uploads a day that looked desperate. Like, you could hear the anxiety in his voice that this has to be a good playthrough. He has to get a good gameplay. He has to get as many kills as possible. You can hear the frustration start to build in him.
Damn.
Which is where people started to really become a follower of his rage. You know what I mean? Because yet again, he's starting to become in financial straits. He's not used to having the stress on him that he once did. You know what I mean? Not just from her, not just from the kids, but just the stress to perform. Because it's not just him. You got to understand, it's not just your personal life when it comes to the Call of Duty community. You got all these wolves out here too that are coming for his spot. And back in those days with Call of Duty, you had guys like me who were casual, young dudes, you know what I'm saying, still a young kid who was looking for a Wings of Redemption lobby. I'm looking to get in there and whatnot and try to go at him. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I used to be at a party with some of my younger friends, and we used to go in there and try to look for him. Shit. What? I can get a headshot on Wings? I'm doing that. I can get Ali 8 flipping? We gonna do this? We gonna do this? I was all about that. It wasn't even about YouTube fame, my dude. It was just, you got a top YouTuber in your lobby, and you know this video is probably gonna make it on YouTube. Oh boy, I'm gonna go ahead and light him up. Light him up like it's Christmas Day. and that stuff wears on you. It wears on you as a content creator and as a player, because you're so worried about having this great gameplay, and then you got all these wolves that are looking at getting at you because they recognize your name, because they watch your videos. It all just kind of compiles on you.
Damn. So there wasn't no huge breakup with Wings and his girlfriend like Pandalee and DSP?
It was pretty big. He took it a certain type of way, like most people did. She just picked up and left on him.
Oh shit. Oh, so there wasn't no hey, look, this isn't working. She just, hey kids, we gotta go, and just grabbed her shit and just rolled out.
It's kind of like a combination of the two. Like, it's probably obvious. I didn't live in Wings' house at the time. I wasn't watching Wings super close at that time, but at least around this breakup. But I would guess that they saw it coming. That he saw the signs, and frustration, fights go about, and she eventually picked up and left. Now, did he get cucked like Boogie did? I don't know. I don't think so. I think she just picked up and left on him. Was just,
Boogie and his wife not together no more?
Hell no!
Oh man, that was his biggest support. Oh shit!
Nah. Hell to the nah.
Oh shit!
Nah, we can. If you want to do another video, man, we can always. I'll let you do some research on that. But nah, apparently a photo. Apparently they were going through the problems, as all marriages do.
Yes.
And I guess she started to get herself right, and then all of a sudden it pops up on the internet that she is on some black guy's lap. Everybody's like, yo, Boogie, what's up with this, that, the third? Oh, it's a friend of hers. It's no big deal. Yada yada yada. Next thing you know, she wanted a divorce.
Bro, I'd have been crying.
There's a bunch of extra stuff in between all that, but that's just the kind of long and short of it.
Damn.
And then look at him. Now he's all torn up. He had the surgery, right? And he looked like he was going to be successful with it. And this falls into Wings, so I won't dwell on Boogie too much longer. But he had the surgery. Then he gets the divorce. And then look at him now. Now he's saying that he's suicidal. Now he's saying this, that, and the third. James the Lesser Express Lane. Check out his channel, because he follows the Boogie situation a little bit. And he's probably a really good person to watch and to check up on and whatnot. He can try to fill you in.
I'll subscribe to him.
Yeah, he makes great content. But he would probably be someone better to follow up on. I'm going to wait until Boogie levels himself out first before I start finding out what's going on with that. Now, how does that pertain to Wings? Like I said, that's at least the long and short that I heard of Wings' essential relationship with his girlfriend or whoever that was. And after that, he goes into this depression, and he never really got out of it, to be honest. And for Wings, he talks a lot of hype. He talks a lot of shit, but he's not, and I'll give DSP some credit, he's not the fighter DSP is. And that's why people feel like, even though Wings has just had the surgery in Mexico, he might relapse. And he might relapse because Wings doesn't handle stress well. DSP puts up a good front. And then when the cameras are off, right to that gin and tonic, right to that fuck you Tevin, fuck you Snorpel, you know, fuck all you detractors. I'm gonna watch WWE for 3 hours and drink this tonic, this gin and tonic, and then he falls asleep on his couch. Or he does those drunk late night texts to John and probably Panda still if he's even in contact with them. DSP handles his stress a little bit differently than Wings because Wings has lost the fight essentially. He doesn't have any fight in him.
I noticed that when I seen a video of him explaining himself and then start breaking down crying, and I couldn't understand, like, what the fuck is you crying for, bruh? I like, just curse these motherfuckers out. The fuck?
He just doesn't have it in him. Because you got to understand, Wings' detractors are different from DSP's. Like, with Wings' detractors, right? It's something rather amazing to watch. Wings' detractors will come into his comment section. Will come into his chat. Will come onto his comment section. They'll give him money. They'll give him good advice. They'll let Wings shit on them, and then they go and get his ass. And they'll do this day in, day out. They will give this man the chance, and they will wait until they are provoked or wait until they're on the defense, and then they'll get him. Whereas DSP swears to God that this is 24-hour ops and that this is 24-hour ops, and I'll say myself, James the Lesser Express Lane, Mimology 101, and Mighty D are all taking turns with Cat, and he's outside the room and he hears it all. And he every night. I swear to you, bro.
Hey man, I want to say this. You might think that Wings had lost the fight, but I can say this: when it comes down to DSP and Wings will talk to his goddamn, what's the word you use? That detractors. He will at least talk to them, even be on Discord to have a conversation with you. It doesn't always go well or go well at all, but at least he will talk to them. DSP refused to talk to anybody unless he's either getting paid or he knows you're not going to dig in that ass.
You're absolutely right, but let's talk about why that happens. Wings, in his heart of hearts, God bless him. God bless Wings. In the deepest crevices of his heart, he believes that if he could talk to some of these people, he could have them understand where he's coming from, and they could somehow come to an understanding. DSP believes that he's above all of us. He believes that none of us are worthy of breathing the same gout-ridden air as him, and he just doesn't want to hear it. He does not want to hear it. Dude, I'll tell you right now, man. The first radio segment when I finally decided to get GTG radio off the ground, I'm going to put it out there that I want DSP to call into the radio show. I want him to do it. And I want him to just give me 10 minutes to justify himself to me, to any hater. He can name drop whoever he wants and justify why they're wrong. And I guarantee you he won't do it. Now, if Brightside Viking, Vidal, was still around, Brightside Viking would do it. He would call up and be like, hey, I can justify why you guys are wrong, but DSP won't do it because he still has that air of superiority about himself. But it's not just that. He's scared. He's scared of going up against, I won't even use myself as the example. He's scared to going up against an almighty Tevin. He's scared to talk to an Argent or a Theo because all three of them would eat him alive.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, they would, because at the end of the day, you can break down Phil's logic and reasoning, and Phil knows it. He knows what he does is wrong, but to his own little hug box and his own little bubble, he's still king. He's still reigning.
So when it comes down to the detractors and when it comes down to how they handle it, I believe DSP won the shittiest personal award. Because all the videos I've seen of Wings, I've never seen, at most I've seen block this hater, fuck you. Hey, all I want is your money. At least he's truthful for that. DSP, the fucked up shit I seen this man do was tell a man, hey man, I don't want to hear that your brother's died. That could be fake. What reason would he need to fake that his brother died just to tell you, hey man, you could fix a decent fucking meal?
Because DSP is a piece of shit. I swear to God, he's a piece of shit, and that's how a piece of shit acts. A piece of shit treats everybody in life like himself. He expects everybody to lie because Phil lies. He expects everybody trying to get over on him because Phil tries to get over on people. Mm-hmm. It's in his nature. And he and for Phil, and I was talking to somebody about this the other day, in my chat like a day or two ago. Drive check. Shouts out to Drive Check. I know I shouted you out my last video, but I'm gonna shout you out here. For him, he has said that DSP does what he does because he believes in his heart of hearts that he's right. That's not exactly how he worded it, but he gets what I mean. He believes in his own mind that he's right. And Tevin, of course, believes the exact same thing. A lot of detractors do. The thing is with Phil is that all of that's true, by the way, but Phil believes the worst of people because he sees the worst in himself.
Damn, that's some deep shit.
And he can't deny it. And he can't deny it. And the thing is you put him in a room with Tevin, put him on the phone with Tevin for 20 minutes, and he's gonna leave. He'll leave in 10. He might leave in 5. You know what I'm saying? I feel like out of Almighty Tevin, Argent, and Theo. Oh my God! Out of Jesus Christ, that's stacked. If you he would definitely run out of that room with Tevin. He's not going to want he wants none of that. He can't stand up to Tevin's logic. He can't stand up to Argent's reasoning. And to be honest with you, Theo will just eat him on everything. All 3 of them will. He can't stand up to any of them. He can't. And the thing is all 3 of them would come across as decent human beings to him, but that would make DSP even more scared because he would expect them to come in yelling at him, being ultra aggressive, and instead they just wanted to have a conversation.
Yep, I believe they would. I believe they would just have a decent conversation. I don't think they would ever just, man, what the fuck you been doing, DSP? Man, you been doing this, that, and other, taking money from your fans? No, I don't think none of that will happen.
Nope.
Down to DSP and Panda Lee and the whole them breaking up. Do you think Kate will suffer the same way as Panda did? How DSP put her business out there with Panda Lee, and the same thing may happen to Kate, that something goes on and DSP stupidly will put her business out?
And I say to the girl there, oh, excuse me, my girlfriend is over in room 28, and she had a panic attack. They drugged her, and we need to know what's going on. We're wondering, is there a counselor coming or whatever? Because we're in the dark. We're just standing here. We're not even sure what's going on. And the girl literally looks at me like this and says, I don't know, and no one here knows anything. I was like, wow, what great help, right? But she says, so go back to the room and press the call button. Then a nurse will show up, and the nurse will be able to tell you what's going on. Okay. I couldn't believe it. I'm not making it up. She actually said that to me. No one here knows anything. Okay. This is great. I know you're loving this story. I'm loving this story. Okay. So then I go back to the room. I tell Leanna, listen, you're going to have to buzz to find out what the hell's going on here. So she buzzes, and we wait. And we wait about 5 minutes. It wasn't too bad. Nurse comes in. Woman, she says, what's wrong? What's going on? And Leanna says, well, no, she's so groggy. She can barely talk. She's like, oh, nothing. I just want to know what's happening here. Are we waiting for a counselor, a doctor, or whatever? And the woman looks at us with like a look of scorn, right? A look of scorn. She's like, you've only been here like an hour and a half, and we have other patients. And I'm like, what kind of fucking place is this? Like, you're going to talk down to a patient who's been waiting an hour and a half and no one's come in to tell her the status of what's going on? And she asks and you get angry? And I'm like, what the hell? So I said, listen, I said, we're both hungry. She needs food. She hasn't eaten today. So the woman says, okay, I'll go get you some food. So she leaves. She comes back with a turkey sandwich. It's like turkey on rye bread with a piece of lettuce and a piece of cheese and like a packet of mustard and a couple saltines and a apple juice and like a little... The apple juice looked like it was in like a yogurt cup. I've never even seen apple juice stored like that before. And a string cheese. Now, Leanna hates string cheese, and Leanna wasn't super hungry for like a sandwich, so she ate some saltines. Good, she got something in her, and there was water there too. I gave her water. She didn't want the apple juice, so we gave her the apple juice or whatever. All right. So now we wait again. We're waiting and waiting. So anyway, I forgot to tell you before the nurse left. She said the counselor is coming. You just have to wait. You have to wait because there's other people here. I'm like, wow, thanks. How long did we wait for the counselor? What do you think? Did we wait an hour and a half? Yeah, well, longer than that. We wait an hour and 45 minutes? No, okay, maybe we waited 2 hours? Yeah, no, longer than that. Almost 2.5 fucking hours we sat there, okay, waiting for a counselor to come into the room. The counselor was an elderly woman. You could tell she's probably in her 60s, white woman, comes in with 2 pieces of paper. Okay, she comes in. Hi, how you doing? Are you in pain? No, that's good. You're still having anxiety? No, that's good. Okay. They gave you some drugs, right? Yeah, okay, that's why you're calm. That's why you're woozy. It's because you're on the drugs. So here's 2 pieces of paper explaining what anxiety attacks are. Have you ever had an anxiety attack before? And I'm like, so they admitted her. Well, they didn't admit her. They bring her into the emergency room. They administered a drug, and no one even asked her when she was brought in anything at all. They had no basic information whatsoever about this thing. She'd been sitting there for 2.5 hours. She might have been having a life-crippling anxiety attack where she's gonna fucking, lose her mind and be mentally lose her shit. And she comes in and asks, did you ever have an anxiety attack before? She's like, yes. Are they usually like this? Well, I have them, but this is the worst one I've ever had. Oh. Well, do you have a doctor? Yeah. A primary care physician? Yeah. Well, we recommend that you go see your doctor then. I'm like, oh my God, are you fucking for real? Are you fucking for real? Okay. Then she says, so, there are different ways that we can help with stuff like this. Primarily, what it is we recommend you don't take any drugs at all. You just wait it out, okay? Now, obviously, just waiting it out doesn't work in the situation that Leanna was in, to the point where they called the paramedics. The paramedics recommended drugging her. So this woman is obviously a fucking buffoon, okay? So then she said, so typically you should just wait it out, but there's other ways you could do. If it's something that happens all the time, then you could do antidepressants, and that's a long-term medication. But since it doesn't happen all the time with you, usually we just have this, what we call kind of an emergency pill, where if you ever have a bad attack, you could just pop the pill, almost like an EpiPen. It's like an emergency issue where if you have an allergic reaction, you pop yourself with that EpiPen and it solves the problem. So same thing here. You have a problem, pop the pill, right? And it'll cure the problem or whatever. But obviously she goes, but we don't recommend you do that all the time because as you can see, you are tired and loopy and you don't want to be that all the time, right? And I'm like, this is the most stupid, what's the word I'm looking for? Patronizing woman I've ever heard in my life. She's given zero useful information whatsoever, and we waited 2.5 fucking hours for her, okay? By the way, I'm not done yet, but I want to give a shout out to Smart Weirdo 95 who did a 2,000-bit cheer. Thank you, Smart Weirdo 95. He says, I've been watching since I was in middle school. Now I'm in college. Thanks for entertaining me over the years. Thank you very much, Smart Weirdo. That's very appreciated. 2,000-bit cheer is awesome, and obviously he is the cheerleader today for the stream.
Yes. Kat, I know you listen to the Detractor stuff, Kat, because DSP does. And the way that you looked at that Q and the way you were looking in that Q&A, Kat, tells me a lot about you. It doesn't tell me everything, but it tells me a lot. The paranoia that DSP has established and instilled into Kat was on full display for that Q&A because she spent the majority of the time looking at that chat. When she looked at that camera, it was cringe, or it was she definitely looked uncomfortable, but it was certainly cringe. Other than that, she was ball busting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say when P was telling her to kiss DSP, why kiss him on the cheek?
It was, well, first off, why ask him to kiss you in the first place?
I think the fans just wanted to see it.
If she felt If she felt like doing that, she'd do it. And see, the thing is Panda would have done that.
Yeah, because she was always a playful person.
But I think Panda, and I said this in my last video, I believe Panda truly loved him. I think Panda truly loved Phil. And keep in mind, she was annoying, she was irritating, so on and so forth. But we've all been with a woman who's like that. That means she's feeling you. That means she loves you. That means she cares for you. Kat doesn't show that. Kat shows the type of, it's not resentment, so to speak, but the type of uncomfortable, it's very uncomfortable being around Phil. And if you look at when she was first established on film or on video, and you look at her now, she looks a little bit more comfortable when Phil touches her. But at the same time, when you can tell she's listening to what he's saying. She's really listening to him talk. And she's seeing what's going on in that chat. And that shit scares her. It's not what she was expecting. And that goes back to Phil, filling her head with these detractors right here. They're going to find out everything about you, this, that, and the third. You have to move here. You have to move here right away. You have to give up social media. You have to give up YouTube. You have to give up everything. You have to just come here and you'll be safe here with me, because if not, these detractors are going to find you and they're going to completely expose you and your family and they're going to swat you and then shut up.
It is disgusting to feel somebody here with that damn nonsense. And I'm highly shocked that she even fell for that. She don't seem like a young... You said control?
No, it's control. It's control. Go ahead. I mean, I want you to finish your point, but I was just saying it's control. That's what I did.
Yeah, because I don't see her as being that naive young person, because she only like what, 26?
She's probably somewhere between 26 and probably like 28.
Yeah, because I don't see her being that naive. No.
But she's vulnerable. There's something about her that, because think about it. I want you to really think about this, real quick. You know what I'm saying? We both have been players at some time or another.
Yes, sir.
I have never asked a woman to drop her life for me. I've never asked someone to be like, hey, you got to stay off social media because, I got people that don't like me and that might fall onto you.
Quick question. I'm sorry. Yeah, but what if y'all did find any information? I can only ask you. I can't put you in any box. But if you was to find any information that where she lived and whatnot, or would you have done anything with that information? Would you put that on a YouTube? Hey man, I found out where Kate lived. This is where she is. This is her favorite color. This is where her mom's place. Would you have done any of that? And do you think others would?
No. I can't speak for the detractor community, first off. I will say, but I'm going to do it now. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that I don't see anybody putting that in the video, because at the end of the day, at least at the moment, I should say, she's innocent. You got to, you have to, as a detractor, right?
Yes.
Phil talks about us out here exposing his life, this, that, and the third, and whatever. Dude, the mountain, the mountain of information that I'm sent on DSP would fucking spin your head. I found out, no, seriously, I've been sent stuff on Phil, and don't get me wrong, not just me. I'm sure Tevin, Argent, all of them have. I've been sent stuff on Phil that I never even knew existed. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I was sent pictures of stuff that I was just like, oh my God. And when I stepped into this, as I've said before my videos, I just wanted to be heard. I have an opinion. I just wanted to be heard. And that's why my comment section is open to anybody. You don't give a shit. You hate me? Go ahead. You can say that shit in my comment section. It ain't going nowhere. Go ahead. Say what you want. Say what you feel. But you also have to have a level of responsibility in this shit. Yes. I don't hate Phil. You know what I'm saying? Let me establish that right now. I do videos on Phil all day because it's funny. Because it's amusing. He does stupid shit. Mm-hmm. But I don't hate him. I hate what he does, but I don't hate him. So me exposing Kat and thinking that I'm getting over on him is just not something that's in my repertoire. I don't think that's in any detractor's repertoire. Now, keep in mind, if a particular site finds that shit and posts that up, hey man, that is what that is. That's what you expect.
Yes.
As someone putting that into a video or being like, hey guys, this is what I found on Kat. Are you guys ready? Here we go. I don't have that in me.
Do you think somebody actually did swat Panda's Lee's brother's wedding?
No, no. I feel like that's not because now keep in mind it was the fear that someone was going to swat their wedding. So is that what you asked me? Are you asking me if I?
Oh, so it did. So it did happen.
No, it never happened.
Oh no. So why the fuck does DSP bring this up then?
Because DSP is a piece of shit.
Oh, I almost spit my water out.
No, you're good. I'm sorry. DSP is a piece of shit. This is the thing with that wedding. That wedding coincides with Fallout 4 or whatever that Fallout game was going on at the time. New Vegas, whatever it was.
It was Fallout 4.
Or Fallout 4. So the lore is, oh, well, Phil didn't want to go to that wedding because he wanted to play Fallout 4 so he could get those early views. Fair enough. If you don't, if that's really what his situation is, so be it. Why didn't you send her to that wedding? You could have sent her. You could have drove her to the airport. You fly her out. You let her be at her brother's wedding, which is one of the most important aspects of her life that she may never get another shot at. And then you let her fly home. But see, why did you have to make it about you, Phil? Why did DSP have to make it about, oh, well, I can't go because I'm a target? If you're the target, then she isn't.
Yep.
So let that girl go to her brother's wedding. But see, Phil couldn't do that. Phil has to push the narrative that they're gunning after me and it's just me, but everybody who's associated with me is going to be collateral damage. So that's why Panda couldn't go. I did it for her safety. The story is, they contacted Panda Lee's family, told her family what the situation was, and they both agreed, oh, well, then you guys probably shouldn't go to the wedding for your safety and our safety. That ain't got shit to do with Panda.
Yep.
Panda should have gone to that wedding.
And I hope that Kate doesn't run into the same problem that something happens down her stay. Hey, babe, can you come with me? I really can't because this, that, and the other may happen. Plus, I gotta pay. I gotta do my job. Like, man, your job is on the internet. Your cell phone, your laptop can be your job while you're traveling. I mean, I wouldn't want to show where I'm traveling at if I was DSP. I wouldn't do that at all.
Well, that's the thing too. Why did he put all that out there? He told them the state that the wedding was in. He didn't tell them the venue, but he essentially told them where the wedding was going to be at, what days he was going to be gone for it. He laid out the circumstances for if someone wanted to swat that wedding, they could.
You know what? He probably did that just so when a day finally comes, okay, Phil, did you buy the tickets? Oh man, and then gave his bullshit reason. I mistakenly told people the date of when I was doing this.
Now that's what that was. There's no delays, right? You know what I mean?
But even if he did, let's say he didn't
delays,
plan that,
there's always potential. Oh, it's not ready. It gets delayed to a couple weeks. It gets delayed.
It comes back down to one of these things where
we don't know. Right now, the tentative date is November 10th, 2015.
He says too much,
and I'm going to say this, even though it's really not. Unfortunately, that's bad timing for me because Leanna's brother, my girlfriend's brother, is getting married on November 14th in Pennsylvania, which means around November 12th or 13th, we have to fly across the country to the East Coast to attend this wedding, and I haven't really met some of her family members, so they want to spend a day or two with us while we're out there, which means probably starting November 12th or 13th, I'm gone for like 3 to 4, if not 5 days before I can play this game again. So what I'm going to have to do, and I've already had the discussion with her about it. I said, what we're going to have to do, listen, it's my work. I can't not play one of the biggest releases, if not the biggest release in the past 5 to 6 years. So what I'm going to have to do is get whatever method to get the game earliest, whether GameStop does a 9 p.m. release or digital releases early. Remember Witcher 3, digitally you could get Witcher 3 early. Whatever the earliest thing is, I need to get it. I need to play the shit out of it that release day of Monday night, or however late, Tuesday and Wednesday. I basically need to play an insane amount of this game for about 3 days straight, which means marathon fucking streams, okay? I'll be recording, but I'll be marathoning the little shit out of the game for several days to the point where I'll have so much surplus footage that when I go to this wedding, I can constantly be uploading another 3 hours or so of gameplay every day to everyone so that it keeps continuing and continuing and continuing until I get back. Because I understand that this is a huge release for my work, for my personal experiences. At the same time, I'm 33 years old, and I need to be able to do life things like a once-of-a-lifetime wedding I have to go to. So that's kind of the thing that happens, you know, with real life. I will still play the game at launch. I will play the hell out of the game before I go to the wedding. I will have videos that will go live while I'm at the wedding. And then when I return from the wedding, I will continue to play the living shit out of Fallout 4. But everyone will just have to kind of be understanding of that. And it is what it is. You know, and it is, I mean, immediately I was like, of course, right? Any fucking day of the year this game could have come out. It has to come out the week of the wedding that I can't be here. And let me tell you, oh my God, this ridiculous stuff that people are making up. People think that, like, there's a wedding that I was supposed to go to and I'm not going to it because I'm going to play Fallout 4 because I'm making money. I'm greedy. Like, people are that fucking, like, that stupid and that drama queenish that they just want to make shit up blatantly, right? Despite the fact that I haven't spoken about any kind of a wedding for like 6 months now. Seriously, like, it's been that long since I really even talked about anything. The fact that maybe there's personal stuff going on behind the scenes that people aren't aware of that isn't anyone's fucking business. And that's why, and the wedding's not even this week. That's the best part of the whole thing. This wedding that people are making shit up about isn't even this fucking week. It's next week. Leanna's brother, my girlfriend's brother, is getting married on November 14th in Pennsylvania, which means around November 12th or 13th, we have to fly across the country to the East Coast to attend this wedding. And I haven't really met some of her family members, so they want to spend a day or two with us while we're out there, which means probably starting November 12th or 13th, I'm gone for like 3 to 4, if not 5 days before I can play this game again. So if anything, it would be the stuff that I was going to do next week after I've played a week of Fallout 4 that would be affected by it. But they make this shit up, and it becomes fact because people make so much shit up. It's just because this is fact about Phil. And it's ridiculous because I'm not going to sit here and address every little thing.
Oh my God!
And Phil's never learned that. He puts everything out there. And one of the reasons why, in my personal opinion, is it comes from a sense of loneliness. It's the only way he can. I know it seems funny, but it's the only way he can connect with people.
Yep.
It's the only way. And it was only when it was turned against him is when he started to become resentful about it. But what did you think was going to happen when you pissed a group of people off?
I don't think he thought it would have been that big. I don't think he thought that many people was going to put a microscope under his life. Like, I piss a lot of people off on Facebook. If I have a lot of motherfuckers like y'all do that to me, I'd have cut all counts, put fake pictures up, and just live my life as a whole different person on the internet. I'm just saying. But DSP don't have that option because he has to put his face. Because if he changed a whole different account, put whole different pictures and shit, nobody know who the fuck that is, and will not watch him at all.
Yeah, but he can't start over. He can't start over. And that goes back to your original question. I'm so sorry, man.
Mm-hmm.
Your original question was, would he do that to Kat if they end up breaking up or whatever the case may be? Yes, he would. He has to retaliate. He has to retaliate against anybody and everybody who he feels has ever turned against him, who's ever turned their back on him. Look at what the situation with John Rambo. Well, it's really one-sided. It's really just Phil. But what he's been saying about John Rambo the last couple of days, that story that he's talking right now about the detractors are the reason why John left is a little bit different from the story we heard this time last year. And Phil is constantly changing the narrative. And I always wondered why. And I think I have a reason. But we'll get to that in a second. Mm-hmm. Yes, he'll turn anything that he knows about Kat is a weapon. Anything that he knows about her personally is a weapon. And so, for example, I pointed this out in a video a couple of days ago. Kat's been going to the gym. Kat's decided to work out. And
oh yeah, I commented on that video. Yeah,
you commented on that video. She's not terrible looking.
Oh no, she's not. She just kind of look like a horse, but shit. Once she dress up And the pictures DSP took of her did not do her justice. The pictures she took by herself, she looks wonderful.
Yeah, she looks wonderful in pictures, in her own personal ones.
Yes.
So you get a woman who I think she wears a little too much makeup, to be honest, but that's just me. But I think you get a woman like that who looks at the stress that she has at home, and so now she's obviously smart enough to realize I need an outlet. And you and me talked about this earlier. She needs an outlet. So what's the outlet for her? Going to the gym. So she goes to the gym. A couple months later, she starts to look right. Eventually, someone's going to peep game on that. Especially if she said she goes like 3 or 4 times a week. So someone eventually is going to come up on her on the treadmill in spin class.
Mr. Tyrone and Panda Lee going to pick her up.
Talk to her. And eventually she's going to start to feel a little bit more comfortable because when she gets home, she doesn't have that. Nope. Phil doesn't have that, is not going to have that type of compassion for her that someone else will. So eventually it's going to blossom into something, which is what happened to Panda. And I've said this before, the moment Panda got a job, Phil lost her because for once she had some independence. For once she had to do something for herself and she got a job. She met a whole new group of people, a whole group of people who didn't want something from her, but wanted her for who she was. And after that erases all that bullshit from Phil. All of the brainwashing, that shit was gone. And she started to become her own woman. And then she starts going out to the bars. She has a couple of drinks with the girlfriends. Someone walks up on her, Tyrone, buys her a couple of drinks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe they went out to lunch a couple of times. Next thing you know, oh, hey, Phil, I got to work a little late. I'll make dinner as soon as I get home. Next thing you know, she catching the long stroke. She coming home happy. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
So Phil, I guarantee you, Phil doesn't care about anybody more than himself. So he would never catch on to something like that until it was too late. I swear to you.
That time that he was playing Wow,
that was close. I beat this high-level Canary. Damn.
Swamp Thing wins.
Alrighty then. That was freaking a good match, man. I don't know. Probably that Black Canary never fought a Swamp Thing before. Nice. I can't believe I beat this freaking Black Canary, level 14 Black Canary. God damn. Good match. Good one. Where you going? Going to,
No, meet them at 3:30. So we'll start the prep.
So we'll be back for dinner?
Probably be a little bit later. I'll text you so we can go over there.
Alright, yeah, text me. But we're definitely still doing dinner, right? Okay. Okay.
Dr. Fate.
I can't hear you with the headphones on.
The Superman looks like the actor. Henry Cavill, I think. I don't remember his name. He was from The Tudor.
Alright.
Swamp Thing.
More swampy. If this guy just spams projectiles, I'm screwed again.
Fighters approaching Fortress of Solitude.
God damn. Good match. Good one. Where you going? Going to,
No, meet them at 3:30. So we'll start the prep.
So we'll be back for dinner?
Probably be a little bit later. I'll text you so we can go over there.
Alright, yeah, text me. Well, we're definitely still doing dinner, right? Okay. Okay.
Dr. Fate.
I can't hear you with the headphones on.
The Superman looks like the actor. Henry Cavill, I think his name is. I don't remember his name. He was from the Tudor.
Alright.
Swamp Thing.
More swampy. If this guy just spams projectiles, I'm screwed again.
Fighters approaching Fortress of Solitude.
What was it? Injustice 2, and she was telling him that, hey, I'm about to go. I'll be with some friends. Okay, you'll be back for dinner, right? Yeah, once she said yeah, that was all over. Put his headphones on. She was still talking. Yeah, I can't really hear. I got the headphones on. I'm like, bro, if I was still with my girl would have can't bust in that motherfucker room, beat my ass in front. Do you hear me now? Yes. Please don't beat my ass. Hey, oh shit! Please cut the computer off. No, they gonna watch you get your ass beat. That's exactly how that would have played out.
Exactly. I'm glad you brought that up. That was a perfect example. You're right. All he cared about was dinner. He didn't give a shit about anything else. Because she was talking about how Superman looked like. I remember this. She said that Superman looked like homeboy from the Tudors.
Oh shit!
The guy who actually plays Superman now.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, okay, all right, whatever. That's all he cared about. And I think what happened was as time went on, and as she gained more and more of her independence, she saw Phil for what he was. But here's the thing: this goes into that fake wedding ring thing. I think she wanted to see if he would change. I think she wanted him to commit to her. And Phil was never going to do that. Phil was never going to marry Panda. Let me put that out there right now. He never had any intention of marrying her. Never.
Hey, and bro, it's a shame that it took the people that he claimed that don't like him at all to tell him, hey man, you and your girl getting married? Fuck is you talking about? Yeah, Panda has a wedding ring. Check her on Twitter. Finds out. I never gave her that. And just kept going like, bruh, I would have ended that stream. Hey, sweetheart, who gave you that wedding ring? And then again, I would have felt like a piece of shit for not noticing that from the get-go.
Exactly, but did you see how angry he got about that? He's like, what is this, some type of detractor joke? I don't get it. What is that? It made him look like an idiot. It really made him look like a damn fool. Like, you live with this woman, and you don't know what's going on in your own house?
That's a shame. Unless they were sleeping in two separate rooms, because like you have to notice a little changes when something is on somebody's hand that you see on an everyday basis that's not normally there. Oh shit! Hey, where you get that ring from?
And that might have been what the case was. It's hard to say, but it's very, very possible. It's very, very possible.
Oh, speaking about detractors here, I really haven't been attacked by any of Wings people, but it's been a couple of times I was on DSP's Twitch where I've been called a nigger by some detractor of his because they thought I was a fan, and they kept spamming my damn Twitch. Nigger. I'm like, hey, bro, I'm not even a fan of his. I'm just watching some of his videos. What the fuck is your problem? And just kept saying the same thing over and over again. I'm like, wow.
And that right there is what hurts Phil the most, and he doesn't even realize it. Because to Phil, those are his people. That's why Phil, up until recently, and I mean, and even then, the N word still gets thrown around there. It's just changed a little differently. That's the reason why the racism's allowed to go on. And Phil doesn't look at it as a bad thing because Phil's like, well, what's the problem? I don't understand why you guys are mad about it. No. It is what it is.
Because the first thing he says is the block. Like, you could at least address this, dog.
Nah, because at the end of the day, he's cool with it. He's cool with it because not just if you're possibly a detractor, it's just he don't care. That's just how he really feels. And this is coming from a guy who talks about his Italian heritage, and he's more Polish than he is Italian.
Hold on, how y'all know he's Polish?
I'm sorry?
I said, how y'all know he's Polish?
He told us.
Oh, I did not hear that.
Yeah, like I think he said that it might be the other way around, but his dad is full Polish and his mother is like half Polish, half Italian, or it's the other way around. So, like I said, you're more Polish than you are Italian, but you only want to attach yourself to your Italian heritage. Yet, if you guys have read anything about history, I like history. Poland has had a hell of a history. They've gone through some shit. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about historically, they've gone through some shit. So, and whatever you may or may not think about it, there is something there that it should be respected, like all history in a lot of ways. But that's what Phil wants to drive himself on, the Italians. And that's fine, I suppose. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, I mean, if that's what you want, that's what you want. But, you know, it is what it is. Your heritage is more than that. But if he wants to stick to what he wants to stick to, then it is what it is.
So, and then there was this one guy, I do not remember his name. I ain't about to look on YouTube for his damn name. Well, like, man, I mean, he sent me a message on Twitch, why he donating money, because I was like, that's the only way for this fat fucker to acknowledge me, and it was only like, some change on Twitch. I had to look at a video just to get this fat fuck to reply to me. Now he don't do that no more unless you giving him more bits.
Okay, wait. Well, here, let's go back a little bit. You were harassed for giving Phil money?
I wouldn't say harassed. It was a conversation.
Oh, okay, it was a conversation. Now,
yes.
Who were you harassed by?
I was harassed by some guy that it wasn't one of his fans. I believe it was one of the detractors. He had some. Okay. Yeah. He has his picture with somebody from God damn, what's that game that Phil hated from back then? And then Minecraft. One of those green things. And he just kept saying, repeatedly saying nigger.
Wow.
In my messages.
Damn.
I wish I could pull it. But I just blocked it. It just got really fucking annoying.
Jesus Christ, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Hey man, I'm a black guy. It doesn't bother me. But yeah, the second guy, like, why you donating money to Phil? You shouldn't be doing this, that, and the other. I'm like, shit. I had a question: is he gonna play Monster Hunter? Shit.
Oh yeah, but we all knew he wasn't playing that.
I was so shocked that he didn't take advantage of that. Cause he had the fan base, and what was that guy? Crystal Crisis or something that wanted to play with him, and he just all of a sudden just started talking shit about dude behind his back, even though that dude got him a big ass following.
Well, see, here's the thing about that. As it pertains to Monster Hunter, Monster Hunter, sorry, is just another example of Phil wanting to be different, I guess. And I know that sounds stupid to say because it is, but like, it's him wanting to be different. Like, just like with Overwatch to a degree, but what's it called? PUBG, not PUBG. He plays that shit now. That's actually without the hat.
Fortnite, yes.
Fortnite. It's like Fortnite. Dude, no one's asking you to be like Ninja or some of these other guys out here. Play the game. It's garnishing the most attention right now on Twitch. Twitch is your platform. You're trying to grow your Twitch channel. Why wouldn't you play one of the most popular games on the platform if you have access to it? No one's telling him to play it, all day. Just play it a couple times a week just to try to garner yourself some attention. But Phil doesn't want to do it because basically he felt like he couldn't benefit from it. The game is too fast paced. It has the building mechanic completely mind fucked him. He just couldn't keep up. That's basically what it came down to. He just couldn't keep up. And instead of being a man about it and being like, you know what, I feel like the game is just too complicated, he wanted to sit there and bash it. I'm not one of these kiddie little streamers out here. I'm not out here for the kids. I'm not a children's entertainer. I want to play what I want to play. Okay, fine. Fair enough. But then don't get mad when you see Ninja pulling up all these numbers. Don't get mad when you see Dr. Disrespect putting up all these numbers. Don't get mad and jump on Twitter and start calling people shills because you yourself chose not to take an opportunity. And look at Ninja now. if I'm not sure if you're keeping up with Ninja, but Ninja sat there and came out of his face recently and said that Drake used him for viewership.
Oh shit!
You a nut. I'll send you the video later.
Thanks.
You a nut. Absolute nut. Like, come on, man. Like, and the thing is most people now are looking at it and are like, well, wow, this is the real Ninja. You know, because Ninja had that whole family-oriented thing for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something nice for the kids. But then you call out what is arguably the biggest rapper and most popular rapper right now, saying that he used you to garner popularity when he's been bigger than you. He always will be.
Yep.
Are you serious? So, yet again, that was Phil just being petty for petty's sake. Now, keep in mind, most people will argue that, oh, well, he just wanted to be his own man. He wanted to be different. Fair enough. But then you don't bash those people.
Hold on, what's the main game he's playing right now? H1Z1 in order to keep up with, to sit down and just chill with his fans?
H1Z1 and PUBG. He flip-flops between the two.
H1Z1 on the PCs suck ass, and I'm highly shocked that Sony even picked this up and allowed it on their system.
Hey man, cash grab's a cash grab. I'm serious, man. You get it how you get it. You know, not everybody is PC savvy or PC oriented. So if you could try to translate those games there, why not? Look at EA. EA is taking PC games and putting them on mobile. Call it how you call it. Call it how you call it.
Oh, was this game free to play on PlayStation 4?
Which one?
H1Z1.
I don't know. That's a good question. I know Fortnite is for sure.
Fortnite is because I'm looking on right now. It's free on on PC. So if he paid for this, I feel sorry for that.
Yeah, exactly.
But
keep in mind, Phil very rarely pays for games. People donate games to him.
Oh yeah, and still get a write off on those games.
And still gets a write off on those games.
But man, when he played H1Z1, it is effing boring because H1Z1 used to be a fucking zombie game. They took the zombies out just to have you fight. Oh god, this is a mess I should not have in my video. And it just pisses me off that you play these boring ass games and keep crying about where you're not making fans not showing up because you're playing games that. One game that's not that big, even on PC, that just got to Sony.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, and one thing I respect from Wayne's at least, he will admit that shit. I don't care about these fucking games. Shit, I just want your goddamn money. As again, this keep revolving around. Even though it's a piece of shit move to say it, but his fans still come. I want to know if DSP was to say that to his fans. Would DSP fans still come to him?
That's hard to see. I don't know, man. That's a hard thing to. I don't know because, like I said, DSP fans and Wings fans are like two different crops of people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the thing is here. Let me try to explain this as best I can. Mm-hmm. As it pertains, like Phil fans or Phil detractors. And I have to say this because yet again I'm a fan, so I'm not even counting myself as a detractor.
Shit, hold on, I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, no problem. DSP detractors are some of the most creative, multi-talented individuals. You know what I mean? They can hit Phil from all angles. You can get him on his gameplay. You can get him on what he does in real life and what he says. You can get him on just some of the everyday stuff that he does stupid. You can hit him on his logic. You can get him on just about anything. Phil is literally a chessboard.
I'm back.
And Phil is literally a chessboard and you can attack him from all directions.
Dang.
Wings, it is. I swear to you, if you really look at DSP and you really just sit down and you watch or listen to some of his content, maybe, and not even detractor stuff, just listen to his pure stuff, like one of his gameplay videos or whatever. Watch like 10 gameplays. You can find something there to pick out of that. You can find a couple of things. Wings is a little different. Wings is a bit more straightforward. So his fan base is a bit more straightforward. Now, no disrespect to the Wings of Redemption detractors, because there are some very clever individuals. Dude, someone's making an album out of Wings of Redemption shit.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Someone already has a song out on Wings. It's I'll send it to you. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. Wings' detractors are very much, this is what Wings said, and Wings can't contest this. Mm-hmm. If you take what Wings says and you go to Wings' chat, hey Wings, why did you say this? Oh, I said it, but this is what I meant. And Wings will literally spend the whole stream trying to defend himself on it. He won't sit there and lie about it. He'll be like, this is what I said, but he'll try his hardest to try to convince you that, you know, what he was trying to say, what the message he was trying to convey. DSP won't do that. He'll do it for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then he'll rant about it all night.
Damn.
I feel, to be honest, a Wings of Redemption detractor doesn't have to work nearly as hard, because Wings will, at the end of the day, will just pretty much bottom under, or top, or bottom down, or double down, and just be like, I was wrong. At the end of the day, Wings will always admit, I was wrong, and he'll just leave it at that. Whereas DSP will just keep fighting it. And I think, and this is something that I've said before, Wings just doesn't have the fight in him anymore. He just doesn't. He doesn't have the fight in him anymore. He's given that up.
Damn.
Whereas DSP has been around for so long, and he feels like he has so much to lose that he'll keep fighting.
Got you. Excuse me.
No
God damn it! What the hell? I should have written some stuff up. My damn neighbor keep bugging the crap out of me. Excuse me. God damn it. So about Wings. So what is your opinion on Wings? Do you think do he win the shittiest commentary award, or did DSP?
It's DSP by far. It's DSP by far. DSP is he doesn't do anything. He doesn't read anything. He's not cultured. He doesn't want to learn anything unless he thinks he can benefit off of it.
That is true.
He doesn't care. If you can't profit off of it, he doesn't care. Wings is someone who does go out there and he reads the newspaper. He is someone who watches the news. He is someone who watches other shit besides wrestling. He actually has an idea of what's going on. The man reads books. He actually has some depth to him in some way. If you look at some of his old Call of Duty commentary, you can see it. DSP is more of an a cappella type dude. He's more like, it's like the difference between a writer and a freestylist. Phil freestyles and he's shitty at it. But he keeps doing it. But he keeps doing it because he's had some success with it. If you want to call it success. He's had some buzz off of it. Wings, I would consider as someone who's more of a writer. It's just he's lost the will to write.
Yes. I agree with it.
He doesn't have the will to do it.
And the reason I agree with that, after seeing this man start crying a few times because the detractor or somebody brung up something, and he was like, man, I'm trying my hardest, man. You just don't understand. Like, dog, what the fuck is wrong?
What's wrong with him is the same thing that's wrong with DSP. They were both online. They were on the internet too long. They were on too long. They had too much fame. They had too much success. They didn't do the right things with it. And now when you're on top, you hopefully, if you can, you want to leave on top. Or you want to leave with a legacy intact.
But you know,
men have that.
Yeah, man, you know what? One man has really no choice until he drop his weight, because not many people going to hire a 400-pound dude when that's too much of a risk. Versus a guy like Phil that's able to stand on his own 2 feet and put in some hard labor in. Like, he may not could get a job that can pay his both of his mortgages, because dog ain't no job. You been out of the business. Your degree means shit no more.
Exactly.
You've been out of the field for way too long. You're
Way
not
too
going.
long.
You're not going to find nothing that's going to pay your bills like that. But you still can find a job in Washington that will pay your mortgage at your place. And even if you have to stop doing YouTube altogether, you can put in side jobs to break even if you have to. But you keep saying that, oh man, if I don't do this, if I make videos and not make enough money, I'm going to be homeless. Nah, fuck that. You as a man, you can make your way. Since you and your girls together, y'all can make y'all way. But you as a man to say that type of shit, that is disgusting.
He can't go. It's a lot like Wings in a lot of ways. Except for Wings is willing to do it now. They don't want to go back. When you get big paychecks, man, for years, you couldn't imagine yourself go here. Let's say this. Let's say, for example, you and me start a YouTube channel, right? We start a YouTube channel, and for like 5 years, we have like a podcast or whatever, and we're on top. Like each one of us is walking away with mid six figures for like 5 or 6 years. And then let's say something happens, whatever, family situation, whatever the case may be, the podcast ends up flopping out, whatever the case may be. Imagine you going from 6 figures back down to like 50,000 a year. Think about that for a minute. Think about everything that you had. Think about all the money that you made. Think about everything that you accomplished to going back to the bottom and starting over, so to speak.
Well, see, I mean, I know I would be pretty fucked up, but DSP can anybody prove that he has a degree in business?
Not necessarily. I mean, people have seen it. Is it legit? No one can say. And if he did have a business degree, why does he keep making the moves that he makes?
That's because from DSP perspective, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing
Perspective,
that.
You're right.
Yes. It should have been an easy thing that, hey, I may not be able to make this in my 30s. Let me do something with this money now. When you go back to the old videos of him in his condo, when him wasting all his money on action figures, games and shit, instead of doing something business like putting that money in funds and shit and let that capital build in a 401k or higher. That's what I believe, that he don't have a degree, because a real man with a degree wouldn't have made the same mistakes as DSP. But somebody at his age without the degree, I can see how they fucked up like DSP. But somebody with a degree, nah, I can't see that.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because if you look at Wings, right, especially if you look at him now, he talks about these things. He talks about how he invested in land all those years ago when he was making his money, how he did this and how he did that. And in hindsight, he wishes that he made better moves. Now, keep in mind, Wings is what, 30? Shit, Wings is 30. He's younger than DSP. DSP's 36. I think Wings is like 32. Maybe he's 33. Like Wings is younger than DSP. And you could say, oh, well, Wings owns some land. He does. He owns some property. He didn't make all the best investment moves, but because when you have all that money, especially in your 20s, you want to splurge. You want to do silly shit.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. And he just didn't expect to run into some of the things that he ran into, which in turn screwed him over.
And, and that's what happens when you make that risk and jump to invest in something. May not always be the best, but at least you took your money and tried to do something with it. Unlike DSP, your money went into games and toys.
DSP falls into this category of that kid who never grew up. He's someone who looked at his childhood. No, I swear to you. He looks at his childhood and he looks at all the things that he could have had that he didn't. Like, I remember he told a story once about his cousins got a new Nintendo. Jesus Christ, DSP's old. He said that they got a new Nintendo, but at home he only had the Atari. So when he went over to his cousin's house to play it, he used to feel a certain type of way about it. You know what I mean? Now, keep in mind, he said that like the next year or a year or two later, he ended up getting one himself, but he was upset that he never got it right then and there.
What the fuck?
Exactly. Let me continue. I'm still serving. That was just the appetizer. I'm still getting into the main course. I haven't even got to the salad yet. And then when you look at the whole action figure situation when he was 15 and how he wanted this Wolverine action figure, he asked his parents to buy it for him because his birthday was coming up. They didn't buy it because when they finally went back for it, it was already gone. He eventually got it a year later, but it was it was the second run, so it wasn't the first edition, and he always held that grudge against them. So when Phil moved out, when Phil got success, what did Phil do? He surrounded himself with action figures. He surrounded himself with memorabilia. He surrounded himself with all the things that he wanted as a child that he couldn't get. So that
explains a lot.
It does. He supplemented his childhood with what he could get now. Now, and the drawback of that is look at him now. Now he has a bunch of shit that's not worth anything. It doesn't even mean anything to him.
But you know what? All that would have been fine to get those action figures and whatnot, because some action figures do go up in value after years later. But if he would have just kept them in mint conditions inside their boxes and keep the dust off them, he could have resold that for some good prices.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But the thing is, Phil couldn't. Phil had to touch it. He had to have his hands on it. He had to put it on display. It was real to him at that moment. And within that moment, that's the only thing that mattered to him.
But as a grown man, what you could do with toys though, like you can't really get too much entertainment out of a toy.
But see, but yet again, that's the problem. He's a grown man. He's a grown man, yes, but his mentality isn't a grown man. He's not an adult. He's an overgrown man-child. He's someone at 36. He still expects other people to take care of him. He only wants to be an adult when he can flex power, when he can display power. But when he's vulnerable, he curls back up into a ball and he's like, I want people to take care of me. That's not a man.
It's not. But I did written down one question while you was talking.
Excuse me.
With DSP used to getting sponsorships and people wanted to join DSP, but DSP says it's not happening anymore because the Detractors is now attacking whoever comes within his realm. Do you think that's right? People is now attacking the ways DSP can make more money, or attacking his sponsorships? Do you think that is right?
I don't. Okay, well, I would say it's never right to attack someone's sponsorship, but then attacking someone's sponsorship, meaning harassing them, and then you sending them a tweet, and attacking them or harassing them, and you sending them a tweet saying, hey, I think you need to do a little bit more research on the individual that you've gotten yourself in bed with, are two different things. I think when it comes down to the Spawn Seats, I know I'm thinking that's one of the examples you're talking about.
Yeah, Spawn Seats.
When that message was sent on Twitter, I don't fault the individual who did that, because to be honest, that person, when you sponsor someone, they're part of your company.
Yes.
You're making them the face of your company, or at least one of the faces of your company. An individual, an entity that represents you. And the problem is with Darkside Phil is online, his detractors control Phil online. You have to understand, the detractors have control of his image, of his intellectual property. They control everything. Phil doesn't have any control over anything that he does. A detractor does. A detractor, when you look up DSP, Darkside Phil, DSP Gaming on YouTube, it will always be somebody before DSP will show up. That's the type of control that they have on him online. Now, let me go back to your original question. Do I think that they attack the sponsor? No. I think giving a sponsor a heads up on an individual is nothing different than what other people do in real life. And to be honest with you, let me give you a really good example.
Yes.
There's a fighting game event called CEO. Okay, it's held in Florida, if I remember correctly. Now, there's a wrestler named Kenny Omega. Big fan of his. He's Canadian, but he wrestles in Japan, and the WWE's been trying to get their hands on him for a long time. He goes to CEO events all the time because I think he lives out in Florida. Most wrestlers do. I know that for sure. Most wrestlers live out in Florida. And at this event, he had what's called a dark match, which is a match that's usually not publicized or anything, where two guys get into the ring, they get to show their stuff off. One of these guys was a pedophile. Now, let me get into the details because this is important.
Yes.
Excuse me. Let me get into the details because it's very important. Kenny Omega didn't know that this guy was a pedophile. He didn't know that at all. This guy was an amateur wrestler, and he was someone who helped assemble and disassemble their ring. And he was helping with other situations around the event. That was it. So Kenny didn't know what this guy's background was. He knew him through another wrestler, basically.
Yes.
So he didn't know what this guy's background was. But then when it came out, it was like, oh shit. And then people looked at Kenny, people looked at the actual TO or the tournament organizers, and they're like, what the hell are you doing? They didn't know. Is it irresponsible to some degree? Sure. Should they actually take the hit for that? No. Same thing with the sponsor. Hey, you guys are sponsoring someone who has a history of toxic behavior online, racism, sexism, jacking off, whatever the case may be. A company needs to know that, to be honest. And if the company chooses to continue to sponsor him or her afterwards, that's fine. But they should be aware of that.
My feelings on it. Excuse me.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm half and half on it. I've never been the type that want to fuck up somebody's money. Yes, they have the right to. Yes, they have the right to know. But I kind of feel that you shouldn't have to go out of your way just to show them. That's just how I feel about it. I personally wouldn't have even contacted that company. Let that man feed himself and his girl. Well, at the time, I think it was just him living at the house.
Now, and I understand where you're coming from, but yes, there have been other situations where Phil has had sponsorship and he just never did anything with it. He didn't push the product. He didn't give it the respect that it deserved. So it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Especially Luke Crate.
Thank you, especially Luke Crate. And this is a company that even when he stopped unboxing, they still sent him products, and he still did nothing with it. He just let it stack up.
That's just disgusting.
It is. He's someone who clearly doesn't have any respect for the people that he works with, the people that he represents.
And then why I use the word attack, 'cause I'm not sure what happened to the other. I mean, I forgot what happened to the other people that sent him a cheer. This time he finally shut his goddamn mouth about it. What information did y'all uncover for them to completely drop off?
Yes, I can. Okay, so the second company, which was called OP Seats, I think. It's amazing how much shit you remember. It really is. It's amazing the shit you remember. I think it's called OP Seats. Mm-hmm. OP Seats was basically a bunch of young guys who was doing all kinds of shit. Like, they had their hands in a bunch of stuff. And they were selling chairs that were super low quality. They were using DSP. To be honest with you, they were using DSP. They were using DSP because he had a name. Mm-hmm. And it was all good until people started to really look at the company itself and look at the individuals behind it. And when some of their shit got exposed, some of their, what you would call shady type business dealings, then all of a sudden they wanted to be done with DSP. Like, here's the way I looked at it, OPC, I think it was OP Seats. I might have them switched, but I think what happened is the second sponsorship was like, oh, well, we'll use DSP because we just saw he got dropped from a sponsorship, and we'll use his negativity to push chairs. It'll be funny. You know what I'm saying? We'll use whatever, excuse me, his how infamous he is to springboard our chair line. And it was all gravy as long as Phil was taking the blunt.
Yes.
As long as Phil was the whipping boy. But the moment people started to look into the company itself, then all of a sudden it wasn't fun no more. Then all of a sudden, oh, Phil's not going to take all the heat for this? Oh, well, never mind. We want out. And that's what happened.
Oh, did they drop out or did they stop fucking with Phil?
They just fell off the map.
Damn.
They just fell off the map altogether. They were gone. They were like, we want no parts of this. We out.
Because right now I'm trying to find the video that somebody was saying that people was wrong about the company, that companies like that have their hands in many different stuff all the time, and that y'all shouldn't have exposed them without doing no actual research. I cannot find that dude or his video where he said this, and I meant to send it to you when I found this. But do you think that they was really frauds?
Do I think they were frauds?
Yes.
Fraud is a strong word. A fraud is a strong word. Is it a bunch of young guys who were just trying to make money any way they can?
Yes.
I don't know if I call it a fraud more than a bunch of guys trying to hustle.
Mostly,
because the chairs were legit. They were completely garbage chairs, but the chairs were legit.
And they were trying to make more money
off of it, yeah. But every company does that.
Yes, and that's one thing he was trying to emphasize because people was dogging the company because of that. But it's like, hey, if you go to Walmart, you'll find like a bed that they charging for maybe like $300 to $500, where you could get it online from somewhere else for maybe $200 less.
Yeah, exactly. So it was kind of just part of the hustle in some ways. But at the same time, yet again, man, it's funny about the internet. Like, people want a level of honesty, but at the same time, everybody's looking for the angles in a circle, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Do you think it was right about, I know we did talk about DSP at this point. I couldn't get enough information about Wings at the time I sent you that message. I would like to have this discussion with you. But do you think it was right about Lair Media? Do you think it was right for what they done to DSP? Made him waste a whole rack of cash because we had to sign off from the people that he's with now to join Lair Media, and that took a lengthy process of trying to get with them. They not answering emails, and to find out that they couldn't they honey dick DSP, and DSP had to take a Lair Media.
Lavaria. Yeah, Lavaria Media. Excuse me. Do I think it was right? No, hell no. I don't think it was right. I think it was messed up. I think at the same time, there's a show, right? It's on CNBC. You can find it on YouTube too. It's called American Greed. Okay, let me give you just a quick rundown of what it is.
Yes.
If for not just yourself, you should watch it, dude. It's a really good show because it's real stories about real people who got ripped off.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't condone anybody getting ripped off. I think there's a level of there's a level of honesty that should be presented in everything. So I don't condone anybody getting ripped off. But what American Greed shows you is that these people who got conned, these people who were conned or ripped off, they were conned and ripped off because they were trying to get over in some way. They were trying, instead of taking the steady approach to investing, for example, or to making money, they wanted quick and big money. And that's what they called American Greed, because the greed overtook them. DSP is the same thing. DSP should have stayed over there with Curse, I think was at the time, and been content with what he had for the time being. Phil didn't have enough resources. He didn't have enough connections. Him trying to get a managed partnership with anybody else at that time would have been damn near impossible. You know what I mean? No one was willing to touch him. He was almost radioactive. The only reason why, I swear to you, I think the only reason why Curse ended up picking him up is because Curse is like freedom in a lot of ways. They'll pick up anybody. I don't mean to be rude, but they'll pretty much pick up anybody. And that's what the case was. DSP should have been just happy with what he had. And he couldn't. He couldn't be happy with that. He had to have more. And it's what ended up biting him in the end. Do I think it was right that he got screwed over? No. I don't think it was right that he got screwed over. But then again, if it wasn't for the Sons of Kojima, that's okay.
I missed him.
Yeah, he wouldn't have known that he'd been screwed.
But you know what? He didn't even take their advice, because before Lever Media came, it was one of the people that worked with them, or one of their old people, the ex-girlfriend of the manager that runs Lever Media, to find out Lever Media is just a fucking college project.
Yeah, essentially.
And his fans. And his fans came up to him, hey, DSP, did you heard the news about Lever Media? No, don't say that. That might run them off. Please do not talk about them, and just straight up block or bang dude. And then all of it just came out the works. Hey man, I'm sorry, but you know, when you get a new people, I don't want them to be run away like, dog, you owe that dude a better apology than that. People try to save your ass, and you wasted a whole racket of money and time on a fucking college project.
Pretty much. And that's actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm looking in my comment section. The girl that you were talking about from Laveria Media, her name was Nicole. And apparently, you can find Nicole on Instagram as Nicole the Peach. That's good to know.
Hey, shit. I was trying to send her a message to see would she ever join a podcast one day.
Couldn't hurt to ask. It couldn't hurt to ask.
But what was the main fall of the Sons of Kojima?
Oh boy, that's a long one. I'll refer you to an Almighty Tevin video, because I think that's one of the best videos out that talks about it. To be perfectly honest with you, but
from what I've seen, before you say something, from what I've seen, it just seems that Fred Fucks, the whole leader of it, had more skeletons in his closet than he was trying to hide, and that he had no right to talk about DSP when he seemed like he was a piece of shit behind the scenes, and how he treated some of his co-hosts. Made one dude eat. He was about to make one dude eat shit, but it's people like, hey man, you can't make him do that because he lost a bet. You can die from eating feces. So they made him eat something else that made this dude completely throw the fuck up. It was because he couldn't stay up for the amount of time for the bet or something, and he just fell to sleep. And he attacked one of his old friend's girlfriends, talking about she was faking that she had cancer, and when she died, he asked for a obituary or something. And the dude's like, what the fuck is you asking for this for?
Yeah, that was some of the stuff that he did within his own group. But I think what really ended up blowing it up is some of the stuff he was doing to other detractors behind the scenes. One of them being Tevin, Almighty Tevin in particular, where he doxed him. And there's a lot of stuff, man. There's like I can send you a whole Kiwi Farms thread on it if you want. There's a lot. What you're talking about, my dude, is just the tip of the iceberg.
Dang.
And don't make me wrong. And because I follow certain people behind the scenes, there's a lot of people that hope that, you know, the Sons of Kojima come back. I'm
one of them. They was really fucking entertaining, and I'm highly sorry that they did that to Tevin. That's some fucked up shit.
Yeah, it's not just Tevin. There's a couple other people. There's another detractor that they had some issues with. What's his name? I think his name is Kip Over. He's a guy from Canada too. He makes really good content also. I don't know if he still does videos anymore, but there's a lot of stuff, man. It's an accumulation of a lot of stuff that ended up bringing bringing the Sons of Kojima down. To be honest, it's a lot of stuff.
Damn.
We would need like 3 or 4 hours to go.
I feel.
Straight up honest with you, it's a lot.
What do you think? What do you think that can save DSP at this moment? Because from my point of view, I believe he would just to sit down and try to have a conversation with some of the detractors whenever he's done playing some of these games or during the time he's playing the games, and that will bring more views to his fucking channel and Twitch. It try to talk some of these detractors just like Wings of Redemption does, and try to see, hey man, could we get to some type of understanding or agreement so y'all can stop fucking with my life? It's getting to a point that this has become personal, that it start affecting my life.
Okay, what would it take? Mm-hmm. What would it take DSP to turn the shit around? Mm-hmm. That's a hard one, man. Phil needs to do a lot of shit, bro. Like there's a lot. Like, I mean, just from like a human being standpoint, mm-hmm. he needs to be able to accept his own flaws. And he needs to take responsibility for his own actions. Not everything bad that happens to you is somebody else's fault.
That's true.
You have to be a man and accept your own responsibilities. The second thing is that whole thing about asking these kids to pay your bills or whatever. Go out there and at least get a part-time job or something. At least show them that I'm trying myself. Instead of you sitting on your ass asking for money and then banning these kids the next second. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Show some initiative, which is something that DSP doesn't do. He needs to show some initiative. He needs to get a job. He can't benefit. He's not going to be able to live off the backs of other people forever. And when he crashes, he's going to crash hard. I said that like last year in that like 6-hour marathon or whatever that was I did. You're gonna crash hard. You're gonna crash real hard. And when that wall, and there's no cushioning in front of that wall. Nope. You need to be able to take responsibility for your own actions. And the moment he does that and he comes to that realization, even then that might not be enough. To be honest with you, he needs to hit rock bottom. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. He needs to hit rock motherfucking bottom. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I want him to lose his house. You know what I'm saying? Or his condo's kind of already gone.
I don't want him to lose his health either. I don't want nobody to be homeless.
But the thing is, and see, that's the thing. Because people come in, some people come under my videos sometimes and be like, hey, man, do you really want to see him destitute? Do you really want to see him this, that, and the third? Dude. And I say this with all due respect. If Phil loses his house in Seattle, he goes back to live with his parents. People do it all the time. I would say he could go back to his condo, but his condo is basically done. So that's not even an option. He can always go back home. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what your parents told you when you moved out, but my parents told me when I first moved out, hey, if anything ever happens, you can always come home.
Yep. And if they leave, I don't think Phil have any brothers and sisters, right?
No, he doesn't have any brothers or sisters. He was raised essentially with his cousins.
Okay, so if something happened to him, he at least need to. I mean, something happens to him or his parents, he at least need to put his name on that mortgage. So when something happened to his parents, he can at least have something that he could call his home.
And I think his name is on the mortgage. I don't know for sure. Keep in mind, I'm sure there's somebody somewhere on their hard drive that has a copy of that document, but I don't have it. But I'm sure that he's the only child, so he's going to inherit no matter what. But this goes back to something that Mr. Medicare had said a little while ago. So I'll go ahead and repeat that now. What Phil is not doing is he's not planning for his future, and that's something that I've always talked about on my videos. Is that he's not looking ahead. His parents are getting up there in age, my dude.
Yes.
They're getting up there in age. And one day, God forbid, anytime soon, but one day his two parents are going to die. And he's going to have to go back home. And he's going to have to settle their affairs. He's going to have to set up the funeral affairs and put them in the ground. He's going to have to do all these things.
Because you don't want the state to do it.
Yeah, and he's not ready for that. More importantly than that, and here, this is something even worse than death. And I say this with all, with all